orangutan, just purely on
Just holding stuff.
ability to and stuff.
Limb length.
However, most hilarious animal would have to be something like another horse.
That's good, actually. Yeah, smaller horse.
Yeah.
A Shetland pony.
Exactly.
A Shetland pony on top of a fucking Clydesdale.
Or
Doing jousting.
if it's midget jousting, then it has to be a micro pig on top of a pig.
Anyway,
Also work.
back
This is D&D related. I don't know what you're fucking talking about, Graham.
is this part of your plan? Is to like
I was
joust
just looking
with pigs?
through my notes, and one of them's like jousting, where animal ride people, or what animals make best riders? Question mark is what's in my notes. So I'm going over my notes.
Well, that's good. As long as you've got a plan.
He's looking for party appreciation.
So
his music on.
last week, you guys spent some time talking with Tamlin for HR
Oh, aye.
and
HR.
doing like lending your hand to interrogation and I don't know how interviewing tactics.
As far as I remember, it went swimmingly.
It went fantastically well. You asked the best
Yeah.
questions, got the best answers.
Damn right.
So as we broke into someone's house to watch them sleep. Not
really.
That's what you did. Whether or not that was what you were wanting to do, that's what you did. So yeah, you guys are still within the Velis Crossroads. You're still hanging about there.
Right, cool. I'm gonna make him a spellcraft check for that book, and it's very bad. I'm gonna make my int check to see if I'm not that retarded. That went better.
Okay, so that gets you a day. So you're down to like two more days. But yeah, basically the way it works, just in case other people have forgotten, is you roll.
I've forgotten, Graham. Please tell me, how does it work?
First roll is spellcraft roll to basically work, and if you do well enough on that, it reduces the DC on the second roll, which is an int roll, which is for like deciphering the book.
How interesting.
Yep. So, what's the overall plan from here? Because you guys didn't really have much of a plan.
I wanna leave.
Okay, Thonan wants to leave.
I second the leaving, mainly because of this shit, and I think I know where we need to go in order to get at least a part of help.
You wanted to go to that temple thing?
Yeah, the Temple of Dreams. I think
I've got a quick errand to run before we leave.
Okay. How long do you think it'll take you?
The whole session.
An hour or two, or like in session time, or in like D&D time.
Oh, no, in session time. This is RP, Soulsby. Come on now.
Like 20 minutes, depends. Need to find someone.
Anything we can do to
chat?
help you speed it up?
Leave town, and I'll meet you outside.
Well, that's not avoiding a question at all. No. All right, fine then.
We might not want to be here after I'm done.
He's gonna go and shit in the street.
I don't think I really want to know anymore, if I'm being honest. How does Mira feel about all of these like slanty-eyed nonsense?
Porno. I thought we weren't having those kind of jokes here.
That wasn't a race joke. He is quite literally being conspicuous and being slanty-eyed.
That and my characterization, so.
Your character's not
Exactly.
Asian. He's a half
Asian
elf.
elf.
He's not an Asian elf.
Wait, the elves aren't Asian?
No.
Sorry, he's an Asian half elf.
They're far
Half
too tall
Asian,
to be
half
Asian.
elf.
Let's be serious.
He's like Asian American.
I thought that this was all about fantasy, and if the Asians wanted to be anybody, they'd want to be the tall people.
Yeah, probably.
Suppose so.
The big dick tall people. Anyway, we're going off topic.
So big.
So,
I don't care. He can run whatever as he wants. If he doesn't need my help, then
Yeah.
I don't really mind.
okay, so do you guys want to
How's
leave?
Mark getting on?
He's probably just hanging out with us. I haven't fucking changed him due to the fact that most busy towns might not be too amused by a pig
Well, I
man.
was going to ask if there's any insightful conversations had recently.
No, when we get out of town, maybe on the road to this wherever we're going, Temple Place, then I'll whip him.
As a member of a peoples who enjoy relations between people and animals, I'd quite like to observe one of your communications.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Can't you speak with animals anyway?
me, yeah,
Yeah.
but I think he used a spell to do it.
Huh.
And I've got much more
It
important
doesn't
things
matter. He speaks common.
Yeah, when he's
Oh, yeah,
when he's a
of
pig man, but when he's a pig.
to do when he's changed.
Oh yeah, you could talk to him when he's.
Oh yeah, I could talk to him when he's a pig and find out what he thinks about your nonsense.
You'd probably get more out of him, seeing as he's actually speaking like in his native tongue.
Fucking speaker to animals. If anyone's read that book,
Actually, I think I can cast it on you as well.
Possibly.
check the range.
Let me check. Speak with animals.
To be fair, I think Mira can cast it as well.
No,
But she
It's a
won't do it.
fairly.
it's range personal.
Oh well, never mind.
Oh no, she can cast. Oh no, beast speak, was that bit? No, when you're in the form of an animal, you can speak with other animals. Right, that's not as interesting. She has speak with dead. So if anyone wants to speak with the dead,
Nightmare.
No.
speak with haunt. I don't know what that means.
Do they?
Can I get her to speak with the dead?
If you want, yeah.
Does it require a corpse?
Maybe.
Oh well, look.
You
into
grant
that.
the semblance
Carry
of
on.
life. Oh no, you grant the semblance of life to a corpse, allowing it to answer questions.
Never
You may
mind.
ask one question per 2 caster levels.
Right. So Graham,
Hmm?
just for clarity for future reference,
Yes.
if she was to cast Speak with the Dead on someone,
Who is recently dead? Yeah.
and then I was to cast Speak with Animals on her, could she speak to a dead animal?
Yeah, probably.
Excellent.
Kind of works.
The corpse.
I was just gonna laugh at that. I was just gonna phone the prophet and take
Phone the
piss out of
prophet.
him, but we can't do that because
Call it the prophet and see how he's getting on.
Yeah.
getting on in the afterlife when we've got his big orb.
The corpse's
Hey,
knowledge
bro,
is limited
you know that-
to
you know
what
that
it knew
mark
during
you left
life,
on us?
including the language it spoke. Answers are brief, cryptic, or repetitive. Essentially, if the creature would have opposed you in life. If the dead creature's alignment was different from yours, the corpse will get a will save to resist the spell. Holy hell, there's a lot of text on this.
Yeah, it seems like a nice workaround for when you're just like, oh, someone's been murdered. You're like, I talked to them to find out who did it.
Yeah, that's basically what you can do. I can't really be doing murder mysteries with Mira about then.
Yeah.
Who killed you? That guy. Done. Right, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. Fine.
Maybe we'll conveniently forget.
Maybe. Anywho, so Jonas, this is basically now becoming the Jonas show. What's your plan?
Not much of a plan, to be honest.
Well, that's good. You've only had a week to think about it.
Well, no, it's a fairly. There's not much of a plan because it's a simple plan.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go, and I want to be kind of obvious about it because if I'm framing the other guy, the people need to see it. So
Wait, you're
I'm
framing someone?
so we'll get there.
All in due time.
Very good.
Literally.
Where did I put my notes? Where? God damn it. Essentially, yeah, I'm gonna go stab this guy and then be like, "Sweet, GG, well played," and then plant the note that I made last week on essentially like a guard that turns up.
Okay.
So. So yeah, I want to kill Varro. Because I got the note off Bellis.
Yes.
So obviously I want to kill the other one because I've got Bellis's signature on my like little note, assassin's note.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just want to wait for him to be kind of around about his stall, and then wait for Bellis to kind of maybe go away for lunch or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't want him to just be standing there as I chip his brother.
So if you roll a stealth check just now, just to see how stealthy you can be, as you're kind of waiting around. So your plan is wait for the brother to leave and then go in and try and.
Yeah, I'm
with
assuming
him.
he's maybe go talk to someone or go to the bathroom or I don't know. I can't imagine he just pisses behind his stall.
No, he'll leave for. He'll take breaks and stuff. So yeah.
It doesn't need to be long. It needs to be long enough for me to like chip his brother.
Okay.
32.
Cool.
So reasonably stealthy, hopefully.
So you're kind of like hanging around. You're like basically blending into the crowd. You're not like being invisible.
Yeah.
You're just kind of being unseen by anyone who would like no, unless people were like really looking for you.
Yeah.
You're pretty easy to look past. So yeah, eventually that doesn't take that long. Like you guys kind of head outside of the inn you're staying at fairly early on, and within like an hour or so, he goes off and goes for a break. So you're not waiting that long.
Cool. And I literally just want to go up behind him and like stab him in the back.
Okay.
I'd be like not obvious about it. I obviously don't want to shout that I'm stabbing him, but like I'm not trying to sleight of hand it so that no one notices and he just kind of crumples to the floor. I kind of want people to notice that he's been assassinated.
Right, but you want to sleight of hand it so that they don't notice you.
Well, would I have to sleight of hand for them to
Yeah.
not know the individual that it is?
Yeah, like literally,
Okay,
if someone
yeah,
was if someone was watching, if someone happened to be like watching him or see him, and like you were walking up and stabbing him, they might spot you.
Okay, so would that not be better to roll for disguise then, to disguise myself as not myself, but still like an assassin? Or is it sleight of hand?
You'd have to have prepared something beforehand. You can't just kind of walk up and like
Yeah, that's fine.
instantly do a disguise. You're probably easier just doing a sleight of hand now. So like basically, it would look at to like anyone else.
It's the same roll anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what you could do, if it would just roll it anyway. I was going to say something else, but it doesn't matter.
28.
Okay, so I'm going to do some rolls. So that's oh well.
Did you roll high by any chance?
I don't know if you can see that. One is a
No.
19 and one is a 20.
A
Remember,
natty
Soulsby,
20.
you can spend stuff to make him reroll shit.
It's not him, but yeah, you can.
But
You can spend one
That'd be-
essence. You can spend one essence for me to reroll both.
then surely is it not like an opposed roll?
Yes, you're being opposed.
So if you only got a 20,
Yeah, but there's bonuses on it.
God, how high are the bonuses for just some random pubs? Fine, as I will take the casual hint.
Wait,
spend
Souls, what
another
did you get?
essence. I got 28 and a 32.
Yeah, that's entirely reasonable that they're matching that.
Yeah, I'll spend another essence then.
Okay, I'll reroll. Okay, I got another 20 and a 5.
You're fucking shitting me.
So, basically, you walk up. He doesn't see you. He's completely oblivious. He's
Yeah.
like, just like looking over, kind of like looking through the stuff that's on his stall, counting money, looking through stuff, usual things. You manage to get up behind him, draw your blade silently, plug it into him, and then kind of back off. As you're backing off, you hear someone kind of like shouting over from across the like area that you're in, and you see one of the cartel guards kind of pointing at you and heading towards you.
Okay, so he's obviously seen me.
Mhm.
Give me 2 seconds. I just need to look up a specific skill. Da-da-da-da-da. Which I can't see on my character sheet. Open the PDF. Da-da-da.
Also, what are you doing with your assassination thing?
What do you mean?
Like, what are you doing with it? Are you keeping it?
Well, I'm kind of hoping to. This has almost gone down exactly how I wanted it to.
Okay.
So I am going to. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there it is. It's fucking a total odd place. I'm going to use Vanishing Trick,
Okay.
so I disappear for 5 rounds.
What's the checks on that? Oh, there's like...
It functions as invisibility.
Cool. So, I'll re-roll. So you're basically just literally gonna like, smoke bomb
Yeah.
and vanish out. Okay.
And then, like, I want to essentially then place my note in the guard's like pocket.
Right, okay.
So I'm assuming, like, because I will know I'm essentially invisible. So I want to kind of.
Well,
like,
you're not
go
essentially...
past
You're not invisible. You're basally like... Well, you
You know what I
kind
mean, though.
yeah, you kind of are, but you basically like...
them. Yeah.
the way I would imagine it is like you do one of those like smoke bomb things, and then
Yeah.
during the commotion you've managed to like slip through. So if you do
Yeah.
a sleight of hand check again, just to try and plant it on the guy.
Or like, it doesn't have to be like in his pocket, just kind of like
Yeah, just on him.
somewhere. So why did I open PC Gen? I need roll 20. 24.
Cool. Okay, so you managed to like do that. You nip past and slip out of the way, and as it all kind of clears up and they're kind of the place is kind of hitting a bit of a confusion of what's going on and why there's people shouting and the guards are standing there and one of them's just got like a little note thing tucked into the side of his armor. And you can kind of like you just head off. So I'm assuming you're just going to keep going unless you're wanting to hang around.
Yeah, because I would assume that it's either worked or it hasn't, and I'll find out later down the line.
Okay. Cool.
You know, as in essentially, by what happens later, I'll find out if it worked or not.
Cool. So yeah, you the rest of you guys kind of I'm assuming are hanging out outside the crossroads in the direction of the Temple of Dreams.
Yeah, probably just like slid down the road a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe
So
if
yeah,
there
I'll
was
just
like
go
like
catch
an
up with
inn on
those
the
guys.
outskirts of town
Yeah.
or something.
And about an hour and a half goes by, and then you see Jonas kind of like walking down the road, looking quite casual.
That's fair.
Sup?
Morning, gentlemen. So,
Morning.
Shall we proceed?
Why the fuck not?
It's like, I'd quite like to leave this place now as well.
Yeah, I'd quite like to get to the Temple of Dreams as quickly as possible.
Cool. Well,
Got
Last-
a tattoo to see to.
last week, Hakon did some research, some planning of how you were going to get there.
Yep.
So, the journey itself is not like the most straightforward to begin with. So the planning is definitely going to help you in terms of getting there efficiently and as quickly as possible. The road that leads to it is fairly winding. It goes through a pretty dense forest as it gets closer and closer to it. The actual temple itself can be seen as you're traveling through, as you can kind of like peek through the canopy of the trees and
Yeah.
see the temple ahead. But actually getting to it in a direct route is fairly difficult. So without the prior planning, it would have taken you guys, or it could have taken you guys like almost a week to get there if you get
Yeah.
lost. Like on average, you're probably looking at about 4 days, max a week. But you guys are going to manage it in like 2 days of travel because you're just going
Perfect.
straight there. So within those days, you guys can sort whatever you want. You can take a roll on both days if you want.
Oh shit, so I get 2 more rolls of each?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. Spellcraft. Awful as always for some reason. Intellect. Pretty average.
Okay, so that doesn't work for the first one.
Fine. Right. Spellcraft. Much better. Intellect. Much worse.
Oh. Okay, so you're on the road. You're not really able to concentrate. You're feeling like your spellcraft's pretty good, but your actual like ability to decipher is
hold
not so
on,
great.
hold on, hold on.
What?
I'm gonna re-roll that fucking intellect.
All right, go for
Let's
it.
fucking chomp this essence off.
You've got enough of it. You might as well.
Yeah, no, that's 10. Reroll intellect.
There
That's
you go.
better.
Okay, yeah. So you managed to get it down. So you're down to like one. You've kind of got like of the alphabet that you're trying to decrypt from. You've got a fair chunk of it. You're missing some of the lesser used letters, but you're starting to make out words. You're starting to make out like parts of sentences and stuff, which is pretty good. There's some terms that are used for like the names of places or the names of things that he's been referring to, or just like specific stuff that you're not really getting because that requires a bit further decryption. But you reckon you can get it next time. Is there anything else? Give me 1 second. Right, so you guys head there. Within some time, so within like a couple of days, you get there. on the second day, fairly early in the morning, or fairly late at night, because you'll be traveling through the second day. So yeah, you get there relatively late at night. The temple itself is like it looks very old. It looks as if the kind of forest is starting to grow around it.
Yeah.
It looks as if it's very well integrated into the forest and isn't as if it's like invasive at all. The actual temple is made out of a very kind of smooth, almost marble-like stone.
Ooh.
Looks very kind of ornate, very old kind of style of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
You'd see some of it in some of the cities, more kind of specifically based on like elven design or like any kind of like elven-based architecture. It's very kind of elegant, very like grand looking. But the front of the temple is a kind of open stairway that leads up to a large kind of stone door with gravings and markings on the front that seem to be depicting the planet and some of the like the stars and moon and stuff that's going around it.
Sick.
So what's your plans? Like as you approach, there's nothing. There's no one outside. There's no one that's around. There's no kind of like surrounding grounds to it. It all seems to be kind of contained within the actual temple itself. There's
Nice.
not been any buildings or any like there's no villages or anything. The entire road that you walk, there was nothing on the way. It was literally just like one big forest that leads all the way in.
Probably just approach the front door, and try and open it.
Okay. It's a fairly large, heavy stone door, and you kind of like give it a kind of push at it, but it doesn't seem to budge just from kind of getting like pushed at. Like it's not just going to like swing open.
I'll knock.
Okay. So you knock, and it's just this kind of like very solid sound. It's not as if it like resonates or anything. And just wait.
Okay. Yep. Just chill for a bit. 1 minute, lads.
It's like I'm trying to imagine, try to think of the sound of you hitting stone, of just being like the shittest knock. Yeah, there's no response from just knocking.
Go for a wander around the back.
Okay.
See what there is to see.
So around the actual temple itself, there's a kind of so there's a kind of outer wall that's where the stairs are, and then there's the actual building itself, and there's a kind of maybe 6 feet gap between the two, all the way
Yep.
around. So you can just walk all the way around, and it's just this kind of one pathway that leads around. As you go round, you see various markings and depictions and stuff on the walls. There's some of them that have either kind of stones or jewels in them as they go around. It looks very ornate and fancy. But you guys head all the way around, and there's no obvious entrance to it.
Right. So other than this one door,
Yep.
there's no other entrance. And
Nothing.
you said it's night.
Yeah.
As well. That's very clear. Not entirely sure how to get in then. Can I go back to the front door and try and give it try and shove the door open rather than just push it?
Do you want to roll a strength check?
Yeah, let's do that. Second, I'm just getting my strength mod up. A 20.
Okay, as you're kind of pushing at it, you feel that like if it didn't look like a door, you wouldn't think it was a door. Like it feels like it's just a wall.
Okay. So there's magic-y stuff going on then. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
check. I'm going to detect me some of that sweet magic.
Sweet.
Make a roll.
Geese 2 seconds. I need to just find where I'm keeping my charger. That's the problem with having so many fucking notes.
Especially when most of them are about riding animals.
And most of them are garbage. What is it? Use magical device or spellcraft? What?
For detect magic, it'll probably be spellcraft.
It's a wand.
Oh, is it a wand you're using? Oh, yes, it is. Alright, so
Nice.
you use it, and like when you first use it, you get hit by like a massive amount of magical auras coming out of this temple. But you manage to refine it down and kind of like narrow it down to the door that you're kind of looking at. It definitely has some kind of like enchantment or some kind of protection on it. It is. What would it be? Skill wise, it's going to be one of the two. I just need to double check and see which one it is. It seems to be a divine, like a divine source from the magic, but it's an arcane, like arcane origin. So it's like a kind of combination of the two. So it's someone who's a divine caster, but can cast arcane spells. You think it's probably it's a kind of combination between the enchantment school and the illusion school. So it's a kind of mixture of the two. It crosses over, but it's mainly like focused on enchantment, but it uses a bit of kind of misdirection on it as well.
Okay. Well, if this is like high level enchantment and this is something like a wall of force or something like that, I ain't gonna get through it. I don't think I can dispel magic wall of force. However, I can try and dispel magic. I'll try and dispel magic on like the front wall, I guess.
Okay, you can try.
So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna cast dispel magic. I'll probably just aim it at the door, but wait, hold on. No, I can't do it. It's a 3rd level spell. Fuck.
What are you gonna do?
I was gonna see if I had a meta magic feat that could make it work better, but I can't.
Okay. So roll.
Yeah, if the wall's just one fucking thing, I'm just gonna I'm gonna try and dispel magic, and see. It depends on how high level the spell I'm trying to dispel is, I guess.
Yeah. So you'll have a DC. So you're doing. So you've got it's 1d20 plus your caster level, and compare that with the spell's highest caster level. So it's the DCE is 11 plus the spell's caster level. If successful, the spell ends. If not, compare the same results to the spell with the highest caster level. Repeat this process until you've dispelled every one spell affecting the target.
Right. So my check, I'm rolling d20 plus my spellcaster level.
Yep.
I'm level 5. Good.
Okay. So they've got to beat the DC, which is 11 plus their caster level. So.
Oh yeah, if this is some high level wizard, I'm kind of fucked. But
No, not
although
really.
saying
22.
that, 22 is pretty good.
They'd have to be a level 11 wizard for you
Yeah.
to like not be able to get
Yeah,
through
but
it.
this is a fucking temple. It's not like
However,
every chump with change has.
yeah. However, the problem is that it's not It's not always necessarily one person that's cast this to put it in place. Is the thing.
That is true.
Um.
Is it bad that I've already found my Secret Santa person on Reddit? On Facebook?
Yes. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, that's kind of bad. Yep.
They shouldn't live in Edinburgh.
Why? Do you think it's a bad city? Do you think it's not worth it?
No, it just makes it really easy for them to find. Because it's not a very big city.
I mean, so you basically cast your dispel magic at it, and you can see it kind of like you see it kind of like shimmer across and waver slightly, but it doesn't really break through. But you can definitely see that there's some kind of like reaction to it.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what else you would get from your detect magic, just to kind of give you a bit more information on it. You would know it's like I'm trying to think of it. I don't know if you'd know that you wouldn't know the exact spell because it is quite high level. Or it's quite like quite a powerful spell that's on it. But Do a knowledge arcana check.
You
Just to see what.
bloop.
Okay, so you've maybe seen something like this before, as like it's like an arcane lock or like an arcane. It's basically the kind of marks you'd put on stuff, but it's used as a lock rather than anything else. So the way that you'd usually break it is by using either a keyword or a key phrase or some kind of like enchanted object that would allow it to break and stuff like that. Just there's generally like a key, not a
Okay.
physical key, but some way of
Yeah,
opening
that
it.
makes sense though, like a magical key.
Mhm.
Doesn't fucking Porno have the Ocarina of Time? Can he all play that?
Yeah, I was about to say, Graham, I'm going to take out the orb
Okay.
and see how that reacts to the wall.
Like as you kind of reach into your bag to look at it, you can see it's already like starting to react. The actual mark, like the kind of because the actual the eye itself has like swirling kind of like celestial looking stuff
Right,
inside
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
and as you kind of take it out, it's all kind of starting to glow and it looks as if it's very active, and it's probably
Right. I'm going to try and reproduce that song that the woman sung to me in the like the kind of nursery rhyme
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I'm going to try and sing that whilst I'll have the orb out.
roll a singing check. No, it would be a perform check, so roll that.
Okay. I doubt I have perform.
You can
I
do perform
not
untrained.
have perform slash
I'm about to say I have perform untrained.
16.
Cool. So you managed to
That's
like,
actually not that bad.
yeah, that's pretty good. You managed to bring out a song.
Not
It's
that
perform
bad.
untrained with your charisma mod as well, by the
Yeah,
way.
I don't have one of those.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, have you got 0 charisma?
Yeah, well, I've got a 10 charisma, which is a +0.
Alright, okay. It's doing better than me. Mine's a -2.
Exactly.
But at least you've got it skilled. But yeah, you managed to do it. The orb starts to glow a bit more. You can actually see like a lot of light emanating from it, more than just like it looking as if it's glowing from inside.
Nice.
And the door you see almost like if you had like a kind of plastic film around it. It all just kind of like peels back off. It's like off, and you can see that the door, which previously looked as if it's like made of stone, is now like just normal wooden door. Well, I say normal. It's a kind of like carved wooden door with metal inlays and stuff, but it's no longer stone.
Nice. I go up and knock on the door.
Okay, so you knock on the door, and this time you hear a very loud, hollow knock that kind of resonates through the area. Yeah, like that. And after a brief amount of time, the door slowly kind of moves open slightly. And you can see a kind of like half-hooded figure peering out from within.
Hello?
They kind of like look and just like, "Hello, can I help you?"
Hello there. I am Hakon. I was wondering if I could speak to one of the priestesses. It would be the priestesses that would be running this place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's like, what's your reason for being here?
I was looking to seek their counsel on a couple of matters.
It's like the priestesses of the temple do not offer counsel for anything. I see you have managed to open this door, so that gives you reason enough.
Thank you.
However, I may ask what your intent is.
Well, there's some dreams that I would like them to interpret for me. Being the Temple of Dreams, I thought this would be a good place to come. And a few questions on some other matters that I would prefer to discuss with them.
Kind of, he nods, says, "Okay, you may come in." Like the door opens fully, and you can see it's a kind of like older man.
These guys cool to come in as well?
Yeah.
Perfect.
But it's, yeah,
Just I'd ask, be polite and stuff. Don't
Yeah.
go home and be like, oh, by the way, I've got my mates with me and all.
we're going to crash you for a bit. No, the guy is
Party,
relatively old. You notice that his eyes he's either blind or he's like very poor sight.
Okay.
Because they look kind of glazed over. He's wearing a kind of dark navy hood, like robe thing, that seems to be made of either a silk or like a satin. So it's very kind of shimmery.
Okay.
And he steps back and opens and gestures you in. And as you kind of walk in, the inside of this kind of like foyer area is this same kind of like marble stone that's all around. There's some decorations on the, like there's a kind of like rug thing on the floor that kind of takes up the entire center area, and has markings of various kind of like planetary and celestial bodies. When you look, as you kind of like look up, the opening hall area has a dome roof above it that has what looks like some kind of enchanted looking sky. So it looks as if it's kind of like the night sky with like stars and stuff, and it's actually like
Yeah.
moving and looks as if it's kind of realistic more than anything else.
Are we
Nice.
in Hogwarts?
Kind of.
Sweet.
Um,
We'll find the sorting hat.
The man gestures for you further in and says, if you please wait in here, I will get one of the priestesses to come and speak with you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And I'll just go and take a seat.
Cool. So you guys sit for it's a fairly long time. It's at least a couple hours you're kind of sitting there. Some kind of another one of those guys in the robes comes over and offers you like food and drink and whatever else you're needing. But the rest of the time you're there, you don't really see anyone. You don't really have any kind of interactions at all. The room that you're sitting in is fairly open. It looks fairly it's fairly empty apart from a couple of bits of furniture that are sitting around and the area the kind of bit that you're sitting in.
Graham, how has the mark on my arm been over the past couple of days?
Pretty like normal to be. I'd say normal, but pretty
Yeah, like
unresponsive.
nothing's changed. It's kind of staying.
It's
the same.
still doing the whole kind of like slight kind of like pulsing pain thing, but it's not really progressed from that at all.
Okay.
But yeah, so you guys wait for that for a decent amount of time, and eventually you are greeted by a. I don't know. You can't really. It's difficult to tell the age of her. Basically, she doesn't look as if she just doesn't look particularly young, but she doesn't look particularly old either. So she's not, but she also doesn't have that kind of like middle-aged look about her. So it's very strange. She looks very spellbound affected.
Spellbound.
Yeah, she's magically affected in some way that makes her look very like different.
Okay.
But she is wearing a kind of like white silver gown that has various kind of markings and stuff on it that would indicate either kind of like crescent moons and stars and things like that. That's just kind of like dotted around it that are woven in like a kind of silver.
Okay.
And she walks up and she says, "I am one of the priestesses of the temple. How can we help you?"
As she says that, I'm just like, oh, thank you for coming to see us so quickly.
She kind of looks at you and she's like, "The temple is not so linked with time. I apologize if to you it was a long wait."
No time at all. I thank you for seeing us. I have a few questions to ask you. Is there perchance somewhere more private that we could go?
She says, "I am merely here for an initial introduction. The high priestess wishes to speak with you, but she wishes me to gain some information first."
Ask your questions. We will do our best to answer them.
She says, "Well, the first and most obvious question would be, why have you come here?"
To seek the counsel of the High Priestess.
It's like, is this on your dreams or your potential future?
On my dreams and part of my potential future.
Says, "I see. We have the ability to see much through our dreams. It provides insight into both your ambitions, your goals, but also your potential future that can lay ahead of you. Is this something that troubles you, or is it something you wish to gain?"
To do with my dreams, that would be something that I wish to gain, and the potential future is something that's troubling me.
I see. This seems a very complicated situation.
Oh, terribly complicated.
Often those who approach us simply seek information on if they will become wealthy or they will meet someone they love and whether or not they will be.
My request is not so base.
I see that.
Base knowledge.
She says, "So, uh, I'm to gain
Also,
in."
some of my friends may request something as well.
She kind of looks around and she's like, "Does anyone else require anything from this temple?"
I'm good.
Mira kind of like hesitantly speaks up at this point and says that she wouldn't mind some kind of. She says, "I wouldn't mind some
Find
kind
out if she'll
of."
ever do anything.
Yeah, she says, "I wouldn't mind some kind of consultation if that's what's being offered. I mean, if it's available, I'm not going to say no to it." So the priestess kind of acknowledges that and then looks back to Hakon and says, "So your friend seems far less troubled than you. This must be a difficult situation then. So I must ask you one final question. You gained access to this temple.
Yep.
What was the token that you used?"
It was this, and I just pull out my orb,
She says,
and by that I mean my cock.
"Yeah." She says, "I see. Who provided you with this token?"
This was provided to me by a member of my clan, who I believe got it from our elders.
She says, "I see. So you are of the Valmella.
I am.
Okay. Well, it may not be so much a token and more of a relic that you have to hold on to. Often,
Correct.
people who are referred to as are given tokens that are more pointless in their meaning. They're simply just a way of opening our doors. However, yours is far more important to you."
It certainly is. It has done me well so far.
She says, "Okay, that is all the questions I have for now. If you would please follow me, I will take you to meet with the High Priestess, who may be able to help you, or who will be able to help you further." And
Perfect.
you get you get led back into the main hall that you were in. So straight ahead from when you come in, there was another small set of stairs, and there's like another large looking stone door in front of you. As the priestess walks up, the enchantment kind of like automatically removes itself, and she just kind of walks through, and the doors easily swing aside. Inside, you're led up another small set of stairs until you open into a large hall area. It looks almost like some kind of like ballroom or like a concert hall area.
Okay.
And you kind of get led down through there and down another corridor. It kind of goes on for a while, but most of the temple itself, I mean, as much as you would try and keep track of like where you are relative to the outside appearance of it, it doesn't really make as much sense. Like it feels as if like you've gone too far in one direction for it to fit in. You've gone too far in another direction for it all to kind of like fit together. The actual
Okay.
temple itself from the outside didn't look that much bigger than the initial hall that you entered, but you kind of you keep walking and keep heading in different directions.
Yeah.
And eventually you reach another one of these kind of like enchanted doors, and the priestess walks up, and this time the enchantment doesn't like automatically remove itself, and she begins to like speak some kind of words quietly to herself, and you can see that she's kind of like slightly bowing in prayer, and then the door opens itself, or like removes its enchantment, and then opens itself, revealing a much smaller circular room with a kind of like large couch, kind of like large seat area at the back of it, and you can see a
Yeah.
kind of like woman that's sitting in it, with a long dress that's leaning off the side of it. And you walk in, and she greets you and kind of introduces herself, and says, "Where is her name?" Oh, she says, "Greetings, I am High Priestess Karanis. What brings you to this temple?" And then she kind of looks at her thing and says, and like she's not asking you, she's asking the person you spoke to, and she kind of like recites off what you told her and the answers that you gave to your questions. And she says, "Please come, sit down." And she kind of like motions down to the floor, and you can see there's kind of like cushions and like pillows and stuff lying about the place that are on the floor.
I'd go over and take a seat.
Cool. So she sits down, she kind of looks at each of you in turn, and then she stops and stares at you, Hakon, and says,
Understandable.
That's good.
she says, I have seen your face before.
It is a lovely face.
Yeah, she says, I expected your arrival. However, seeing such things in my dreams, they're not always as clear. So now I understand your purpose.
I have a purpose. I was just doing what I felt like.
No, she knows. She basically means like she saw your face in her dreams, but she didn't know what it
I
meant.
understood, Graham.
Right,
I
okay.
understood. Don't worry.
Okay.
I
So
say, I say. Well, unfortunately, I have not had the pleasure of seeing you in mine. Um,
Well, hey,
um,
how come you didn't tell me we came here for this?
she also looks to be similar to the other priestess, where it's very difficult to discern her age.
okay.
Her hair is kind of like really kind of white silver color. Her eyes have almost that same kind of like glazed over, like as if she's kind of like either blind or visually impaired, but they seem to be white and like almost the same color as her hair, and she like has no kind of pupil at all. It's just like complete white on her eye.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of like you could be like as she's kind of like looking around at you, you can tell that she's actually like seeing you. It doesn't look. It's not just kind of like as if she's kind of like blind and just staring about randomly. Like she's actually focused on you.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say, what does she wish to discuss first? We're kind of at her leisure.
She says, "Well, first of all, I would like to understand what you are gaining, what you're looking for in terms of information to do with your people, to do with the eye that you hold."
Okay. Well, on my travels, I met a village elder, and I'm going to try and find his name, but I can't remember it off the top of the head. Awata.
Awata, yeah.
Chief Awata. I met Chief Awata and his lovely wife, and they helped me first of all access the dreams that were stored within this orb, and I was kind of taken on a journey across the lands, shown many dire and horrible things, and I would give her a brief rundown of like the key points within the dream, and then ask, is there any meaning that she can discern from it? Because there's not much that I can take of it right now. I mean, obviously there's some parallels to our current end quest, but beyond that, I know nothing.
She says, "This is strange to me, as this isn't something I've seen in my own dreams, and often that is something I would expect to have seen. I'm unsure if this means that your dream has a deeper meaning and is specific to you, or if it is something that is more related to the world in general, but is hidden from me."
Okay. Is it quite unusual for things to be hidden from you?
Something that could potentially be of that scale, yes. I would often be somewhat aware of any kind of potential problems that the world would have. She says that would initially lead me to believe that it is more of a symbolic meaning and is more related to you. Though I cannot be certain with that. Basically, she means that it could be a metaphor for something and not actually literally meaning that the world is in trouble.
So definitely not a simile.
No.
Okay.
But
So by that, I assume she means that kind of like it's a point in the balance. It's less of a certainty and more of a interpretation.
well, yeah. That one way that she would interpret it would be that she thinks that it could be something that's personal to you and is only really going to affect you. But the way that you've envisioned the dream and the way that you've seen it is some kind of like metaphor for the way it's going to happen or something that's going to happen to you, and she'd have to kind of interpret it based on that. Or it could be very literal, and it could be something that's going to affect the world at large. But she's not seen anything to indicate that.
Usually if it's going to be something of that magnitude, she would have experienced it or seen it or had an inkling of it happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense?
it could either be one of the two, or it could be the third thing, where it is actually something that is kind of literal, and she's not seen it, which means it's really bad. So that's her other concern.
Yeah. Okay.
So she says, if you would leave that with me for now. I will think on it, and we can discuss it once I've kind of had time to kind of ponder it over. What is the other situation you wished information on?
The other issue, and it very well could be linked to the first issue. I do not know. But it's this, and I pull up my sleeve to show her the marking on my forearm.
Okay. She kind of like.
I would then proceed with. We did some digging at the Crossroads to try and find out as much as we could about it, but really there was little to no information. We found one seller who had a book of old religions. He showed us this. I don't know if it's entirely related or not, and I'd show the page. We don't know if it's related or not to the marking, but there seems to be some information here on potential like-minded like-minded groups.
Okay. So when you kind of hold out your arm, she kind of like looks at you and kind of like you can see she's kind of like thinking it over a little bit, and then when you kind of like produce that page, she says, I apologize, but I have no time for books really. It's not something that it's not something that I can ever use.
I say if she wishes, I can summarize it for her.
She says, there's no need. She kind of like motions over, and one of the priestesses comes over and kind of takes the page and starts kind of like reading it over for her. She says, there are multiple people in this temple that can better help with that piece of information. However, the mark on your arm seems most peculiar. It's not something I've seen before. Not in the actual mark itself, but something like that appearing on. She says,
Well, I inherited it from a gentleman who was absorbing what can only be described as decay and death into himself to preserve a town, and upon his death, it was transferred to myself.
I see. So there was no willing transfer. It was not
No.
a ritual. There was nothing that happened that was any
Well,
situation like that.
he died, and then it was mine.
I see. So
So, I mean, as far as rituals go, it's nothing particularly incredible. But if you wanted to call it that, you could. I mean, he died, and then it came to me.
well, she says, in instances such like that, it often seems like the thing that is now on your arm would have some kind of sentience of its own. So rather than it being something that has been willingly or magically passed between others, it has chosen you and seeked you out as its next host, almost. The reason for that, I don't know, but that would be what I would believe in its actual purpose.
Okay, well, that leads me to my next question. I don't think it's good. It seems to not be doing anything nice, and I was wondering if you perchance had any ideas of how I would go about banishing it from me. Because so far, the knowledge that I have of it is that the host has to die for it to be passed over, and I'd rather not do that.
Well, I'm sure that would not be the best outcome. However, there would be ways to perform any kind of cleansing ceremonies or ways that we can possibly try and remove it from you. Have you tried any kind of magical healing or cleansing or anything before?
Well, my friend Mira here had a look at it, and she seemed to suggest that it was beyond her reckoning to fix. She tried a couple of things, but nothing seemed to really affect it. As far as priests and things go, I didn't really want to show it or go to anyone that I wasn't entirely certain that I could trust.
She says, well, it doesn't give us the best range of possibilities for cleansing it. However, for something such as that, I don't think conventional magical ways would be suitable for its removal, as it's not so much something that can just be cleansed. It would have to be forcefully it would have to be actually removed. So
Yeah.
a cleansing would more say that it is being destroyed or it is being removed from you and just disappears. Whereas
Yeah.
with this, I would more say that it would have to be,
Exorcism.
yeah, something that's actually like forcefully taken out, and despite being taken out, would still be alive in some way.
Okay.
She says I'll have to think more on this. We will look into the information you've provided on your page and see if we have anything in our records that would match up to that. As for the mark itself, it's not something I recognise. However, I've seen much, so it's difficult to immediately remember, and often I must go to my dreams to find more information on things.
Okay.
So again, I would have to leave you for now until I can think on it more.
No problem.
So she kind of like motions back to the kind of to the priestess that was kind of came over and says, "Please take our guests to one of the rooms or some of the rooms here and allow them to spend the night. I'm sure I will have more information to provide them in the morning." Okay.
Yep, sounds reasonable
That's
to me.
good.
So
Unless any of the others want to speak to this woman.
No.
yeah, I think Mira would. She kind of walks over as you guys are kind of like start to head out. She kind of turns around, back around, and walks up and says, "High Priestess, I would like
As
to."
she does that, Graham, I like lean into Hackon and be like, "She's doing something."
She says, "I would like to speak with you on something that's a slightly different matter. It involves potentially a foreshadowing for the future that I would like to discuss. Would it be possible to speak with you?" And she kind of looks back and kind of looks at you guys like, "I would prefer to speak about it alone, as it is a slightly personal matter that I'm unsure about sharing just now."
No. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So yeah, you guys kind of get like motioned to kind of follow the priestess, and I think Mira's going to stay, and then she'll head over afterwards.
Cool.
So yeah, you get led back out. You head back through some of these kind of like winding corridors and downstairs and through to various places until you reach a very like a strangely long corridor that's just filled with like doors on each side. And the priestess walks up and just motions to a set of doors and says, "These will be your rooms while you're here. I hope you find everything to your liking within them."
Oh, I'm sure there'll be more than sufficient. Thank
Cool.
you very much.
So yeah, you guys kind of go in, and it looks very nice beds, nice like an upholstery in there. Looks as if it's very comfortable and very fitting or like very suitable for what you're wanting. You also notice, and this might be something that you noticed before, that throughout the entire place there's no windows. Like there's nothing that is giving any kind of
Outside
like
world.
outside. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no link to the outside world. There's also no real kind of like obvious light source throughout the place. Like everything is just kind of like got this kind of slight dim, almost like moonlit feel to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really. There's no kind of like obvious light throughout the place. But yeah, it's kind of nice. It's chill. And we'll take a break, and then we'll return.
Smashing.